do me a favour, can you,
Hello, and welcome to Damn It Vacant, a wrestling podcast. I'm Joe, and once again, I am on my own. On my birthday week as well. Unfortunately, Ellis has been trapped underground, frozen in time until he can break the Warlock's curse, and John is in hospital after recently being defenestrated by a defrocked deacon from Doncaster. Why am I doing this on my own when I could be lay about watching all the Fast and Furious films and rubbing Bonjela into my gums for fun? Well, John has already done the news and that before he got hurt, and it seemed a shame not to. But it will just be the news, as talking about wrestling on your own is a little bit strange, isn't it? If you want more evidence of that, see the OPW review from last week.
Jones. Jones. Jones.
So we'll start the news with what I have dubbed the Evil Empire segment, or, if you don't watch Star Wars, the we're just going to be fucking wrong-uns in plain sight because it doesn't matter anymore segment. And we'll lead off with Brock Lesnar's return. Lesnar returned at WWE SummerSlam after not being on WWE TV in over 18 months, after being named in a lawsuit against WWE and Vince McMahon, alleging sex trafficking amongst other things. Now, while Lesnar is not a defendant and isn't accused of the harsher actions, he's been off WWE TV since early 2024. While the lawsuit was filed in January 2024, WWE pulled him from the Royal Rumble and his planned Mania feud with Gunther. A source at the time told us that Lesnar would not be back anytime soon, and the company and WWE 2K went to time and expense to remove him from that game. Throughout 2024, Fightful were told that at that time there was not real conversations regarding Lesnar's return, but that he remained under contract to the company. Brock Lesnar has always remained on the WWE Superstars page, like people check that regularly. WWE's stance when we asked was that if Brock Lesnar was nowhere near returning, to the point that one employee told us that Brock Lesnar was not to be included in any video packages or any promos. It was heavily implied, but not outright stated, that John Cena wanted to face Brock on his retirement tour though. Virtually all the media suspected this is related to why WWE has moved away from doing press conferences. Dozens of media travelled into town for the show and weren't told this was the case until Saturday. I mean, why would you want to, face critics? Fightful has reached out to a number of WWE execs and spokesmen for an official comment on Lesnar or the legal situation. There has been no legal clearing of wrongdoing, but he isn't actively being sued or prosecuted. Just because what you've done isn't illegal doesn't mean to say you're not a shitty person. We've also asked if Brock Lesnar's return is permanent or if it will be a one-off. He is planned for a program with Cena, who is heavily factors into SmackDown for the next month. WWE's legal department signed off on Lesnar's return in the recent weeks. The phrasing that WWE's legal team cleared him being used elsewhere has led to many fans believing that he was cleared of any wrongdoing in connection to the lawsuit in which he is named, but not a defendant. This is not the case, and Grant's legal team expects more could emerge following discovery. As John has put here, fuck this. For this reason and for many, many other reasons as well. Now, even Ellis has seen the light. We will no longer be reviewing WWE at all. They'll still be in the news and that because they're still a shitty company, but we'll no longer be reviewing them or predicting them or any of that stuff because fuck this. In other fuck this news, WWE and Triple H heavily involved in Donald Trump's Make America Fit Again program, which, if you've seen Donald Trump, is kind of hilariously ironic. Again, fuck this. In slightly good news, according to a recent report by TMZ, former WWE CEO Vince McMahon was involved in a car accident. The outlet described the accident as bad, and his 2024 Bentley was mangled. However, no serious injuries were reported. It is said that the accident occurred early Thursday morning, July 24th, 2025, just hours before news of Hulk Hogan's passing broke. Oh man, imagine if the ghost of Brother Man tried to grab the wheel. McMahon's entire front passenger wheel ended up off as a result of the accident, and since news of the situation emerged, a ton of reactions have poured in from the wrestling world. Long-time employees and those close to Vince claimed that it was a joke but serious within the company for many years that Vince was an erratic driver. I mean, isn't he like 1,000 years old? Doesn't you get your license taken off you if you're... Anyway, to the point where some in his close circle would intentionally not ride with him if they were offered. I mean, I could do a joke. It isn't a new thing with age, and has been the case dating back decades from what we've been told. One source close to McMahon told Fightful that naturally Vince will be driven places on occasion, and that happened a lot more when he was on the road with WWE, and that he's always enjoyed driving himself. The same source said that they believe it made McMahon feel grounded, while jokingly noted that he said this while mentioning he drives a car that cost $250,000. Fuck him into the sun. Hulk Hogan, dead at 71, in other good news. Terry Jean Bollea, Trump supporter and professional racist, suffered a cardiac arrest at his home in Clearwater, Florida. John's right here. He's obviously very important to the history of wrestling, but we also don't want to spend a lot of time talking about his achievements when he was a documented history of being a total fucking arsehole. So, Seth Rollins versus LA Knight was ended abruptly when what looked like an injury a few weeks ago in a match that everyone in the know backstage were told that Rollins was slated to win. Upon returning backstage, everyone, including many medics and producers, were treating the situation as real. The next night, Rollins showed up on Evolution on crutches, which WWE knew would make its way out. The following day, John Pollock of Post Wrestling had reported that a contact had noted they'd heard of a planned injury angle for Saturday night's main event, which Meltzer verified. Sources that Fightful spoke to said they'd heard the same, but weren't sure if it was a rumour or if it was a cover for a minor injury. The details around whether Rollins did have any sort of injury are still unknown. Within the days following the situation, people that would usually be talking weren't, and silence sometimes speaks louder than words. By the time Rollins appeared on Rich Eisen's show, many in the company believed it was a work. However, there were a lot of producers, backstage personnel and talent who stressed that they were not told specifically of such, and they just assumed it was a possibility. The night of the Rollins cash-in had been a tentative idea since before Saturday night's main event. Many suspected that it would happen at SummerSlam, but it wasn't on internal rundowns that anyone saw or heard about. During the Punk vs Gunther match, Rollins had emerged, and then people realised it was going to happen. However, it was kept very quiet. We're told that even worked trainees at Black and Brave, Rollins' wrestling school, didn't know. Fightful Select noted that WWE Unreal director Chris Weaver was backstage in Gorilla during Seth Rollins' cash-in and was filming content. Those we spoke to say that they expect the entire angle will be covered for the next batch of episodes, whoever's watching that shit. Dustin Rhodes will be gone for quite some time. Dustin Rhodes posted publicly that he sustained an injury and is told that he will require pretty invasive surgery. He specified that this isn't a work. Those that we spoke to claimed that it was a double knee surgery and he wasn't expected back until 2026 at the earliest as a result of this. The fate of the titles he holds in Ring of Honor are unknown, but he did lose the TNT Championship in an absolute banger match. It's my one match if you go and watch it this week on Collision, him versus Kyle Fletcher for that belt. It's cracking. But the fact that Kyle literally stabs him in both knees is okay, so he's just going off now with poorly knees forever. It's great. And also Dustin's tremendous. So yeah, hope he gets better soon and we see him have one last run. Braun Breaker, it was helped to the back after his tag team match alongside Bronson Reed, losing to Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. He appeared later in the night taped up, with many asking about his status. A Fightful Select reader, Shard, contributed the following. I had a photo op with him earlier today. He came in about an hour late and was limping into the area. They gave him a chair to sit on throughout the session. Also, the person that accompanied him from WWE was telling the workers to speed through the photos upon arrival. Really cool guy. I thanked him for showing up because he definitely didn't have to and wished him a speedy recovery. Knee seemed a bit swollen. Were you sitting on it? When we asked WWE, a source only indicated that he was going to be evaluated, but they were hoping it wouldn't end up being bad. Corey Graves is back in the fold at WWE Raw in the commentary booth as Pat McAfee is taking time off. McAfee cited burnout, noting that he was eyeing the start of the college football season. I don't know what those words mean. When Corey Graves publicly noted his frustration regarding being sent down to NXT earlier this year, a WWE higher-up sympathised with him. One source said Graves' versatility was a gift and a curse, because WWE knew he could be slotted in anywhere, on any show, and make it work. Even then, a WWE higher-up told Fightful they expected him back on Raw or SmackDown by spring or summer, because of the revolving door on commentary. McAfee is very well liked within WWE circles, and is said to always approach to work there with respect. Sources said that they expect the relationship between the two sides to continue, and we're likely to see him back there again. They just don't know how regular of a role it will be. Those we spoke to in WWE already expected to lose Pat McAfee around August or September, as they understand that's when this football season starts, and he's a football man, isn't he? His job was to kick a ball. That was his entire job. So Yeah, make of that what you will. The ongoing Street Fighter movie with Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, and possibly Hiroki Goto. Many have wondered when it films and what kind of schedule will be required. Sources that Fightful spoke to claimed that the movie films this September. When we asked about whether or not it would interfere with storylines, WWE sources said that they were optimistic that it wouldn't. Cody Rhodes is not expected to be on set for an extended period of time to the point where it would affect outcomes at SummerSlam. They haven't heard anything regarding Roman Reigns. More of this, just the more insane. The more we find out, the more insane it gets, and it's brilliant. The Hurt Syndicate, a recent Twitter space from the wrestling binders Jacob to 2013 that indicate a number of issues that Fightful Selects have heard also discussed over the past couple of months. It was claimed that MVP had rubbed a lot of people up the wrong way, resulting in heat, which is something that have been echoed by a number of talent for the past couple of months. We haven't heard anything particularly regarding Bobby Lashley or Shelton Benjamin specifically, and it's been well known backstage that MVP dislikes Speedball Mike Bailey for some reason. I don't know how, but a number of talents say that MVP made that clear and that he didn't want Hurt Syndicate losing to Jet Speed, as if it's real. To be clear, we were never told that it was on the cards for them to lose to Jet Speed. Nobody that we spoke to knew a specific reason for MVP's dislike of Mike Bailey. Of the numerous people on the talent roster they spoke to, they said that this year was the best they'd seen the locker room in years, and that most of the roster just dismiss stuff like this. There's been a number of creative pitches. One of the pitches was for FTR to win at All In to start a redemption story. Okay. That's strange. FTR was pitched to face Swerve and Ospreay, but Ospreay's got injured, so that's that gone off to one side. FTR could also face Cope and Christian down the line. They claim internally was for the Hurt Syndicate, said no to losing to FTR at both All In and Forbidden Door. It's not going to work for them, brother. Instead, MVP has stated that the team preferred to lose the championship to younger teams or talent, like Speedball Mike Bailey. Jets. MVP's personal preference was that the Gates of Agony, the Outrunners, are private party. There are also discussions that they would take the opportunity to lose to Swerve and Ospreay, but yeah, Ospreay's out for some time. It was noted that Hurt Syndicate have also beaten all three of those teams. Frustration from the locker room is that the teams are heels that do cool moves, beat up everyone, and give fans fives on the way out. We've not heard anything regarding the element of Hurt Syndicate leaving the company at this point. The trio have got like multi-year deals with a number of years left on them. There were also hints that MJF and the Hurt Syndicate was originally supposed to last longer. We're told that there isn't heat between MJF and the Hurt Syndicate. Specifically, MJF and Hurt Syndicate have no issues behind the scenes. And finally, the little mini-story section. Fightful Select is told by WWE higher-ups that Cross and Scarlett Steels are up this weekend, and that a new WWE deal hasn't been offered to either of them. However, to our knowledge, they weren't informed that their contracts were set to lapse. Leon Slater's contract is set to expire at the fall of 2026. We're told by WWE sources that Jelly Roll approached Randy Orton about possibly covering his theme song Voices, and that Randy Orton was very receptive to it. Those that we spoke to the company expect that Orton will push for it to happen. And apparently, WWE Speed has reportedly quietly been dropped. They haven't been taping new episodes and the titles have been forgotten. The deal with Twitter probably expired some time ago. And that's it, really. Hopefully we're back to normal next week. Yeah. Have fun. Bye. The old switcheroo.